Hello Overseers, last episode we unlocked bridges by delivering concrete to the jungle island, opening up exciting new possibilities. Now it's time for a major rework. We transform our desert island into a resource outpost, mining copper and glass while shifting all our processing back to the main island. Can we simplify our logistics and make our colony more efficient than ever? Let's jump in and see. We've got a lot of work to do in this episode, probably a full base redesign courtesy of this lovely bridge over here that we unlocked in the last episode. This bridge allows us to send non-flying ants back and forth between islands, which sort of changes the way we want to do things completely. One of the key challenges that we're facing at the moment is that we have to duplicate a lot of our operations everywhere. I'm just going to pause the game for a second. For example, let's take these wires for example. I want wires on this island, but the resources between islands are not shared. So if I want wires on this island, I'm gonna have to somehow transport them over to this island, build them here, transport them over to this island. And then for example, later on, if I want wires onto this island, then I have to daisy chain the transport over to this island as well. That's kind of annoying to me, right? Given that, for example, on this island, we're making the wires, and on this island, we're also making something like diodes, and I need the diodes on this island to make recyclers, for example. So I'm thinking, why don't we consolidate all of our resources onto our main central island? There's plenty of building space over here, especially when this rubble and stuff gets mined out. So why don't we, instead of building individual stuff, like for example, this island has glass and copper on it. Instead of building our glass and copper products here and then transporting them here and then everywhere else, why don't we just bring glass shards and copper shards via a bridge to this island and then do all our operations on this island? Similarly, later on when we go access the jungle, what we can ask ourselves, what does the jungle offer that our main island doesn't? Well, it has these ancient machineries with scrap gold on it, and it has these yellow plants with resin, and those are the only two unique things, and of course a lot of plant fiber. Say these three resources are the only unique resources on this island. Instead of building our operations over here on the jungle, why don't we just bring the resources via bridge to this island, and then it's just so much simpler, right? We don't have to worry about a lot of the stuff. And that way, when we send our ants over, we can now change the way we do ants as well. So over here, we only want to mine copper, for example. So instead of sending ants over here to like all sorts of drones and stuff over here, we can just send our worker ants, like our tiny worker ants spawning from these hatcheries, directly over to do their job and then use some elder trails to get them to do even more jobs. So that's the direction that I'm going to go. I'm going to attempt this. I could be completely wrong, and this could be a complete fail and incorrect way of doing things, but I'm going to try to get this working in this manner. The first step is to figure out where is the best place to place a bridge. So I've placed the bridge over here, and visually that looks like the closest place we can join these two islands. So our bridge is going to be unfortunately right here next to our flowers over here, but that is perfectly fine. I'd like to mine out some of these things to just clear some area around our bridge. Oh, I don't want to get rid of these flowers. We need two bridges. So the bridges are also directional. That one only comes this way. And to build a bridge, if we go into our transport, we can't actually build our bridge backwards yet, because we don't have, what? Oh, well that makes it slightly easier. I thought I would have to transport some items over, because our bridge currently doesn't have the thing that we need, which is, I can't even show you. Yeah, each section needs 3 wire, and this island didn't have wire, so wait, let me just test something before I do something really silly. Now that we have bridges, does that mean we can use the stuff from this island? No. So what do I have on this island that I don't have on the other island? A diode. All right, let's test. Can I build a recycler here? If I can do that, then that means everything I've been saying is irrelevant. No, I can't. I don't have apparently concrete or diodes. Yeah, no. Okay, cool. So we do need to bring the stuff back. So yes, our bridge's idea is what we need to do. I'm going to move this bridge a little bit out of the way from this area because it's kind of in the middle of everything. So we want a bridge maybe from here all the way to here. Now, before I build this bridge, I also want to figure out what is the purpose of these concrete monuments. if you look at the development tree, the concrete monument and the bridges are somewhat linked because this thing needed 3 concrete monuments to unlock the small bridge. So it lets me it tells me that these are somewhat linked. And the other thing is these concrete monuments have an input and output. So what does that do? It's not really clear. There's no tutorial that explains what it does. So let me just put one over here. Let's face it this way, for example. And then let's get a bridge from, well, it doesn't seem to do anything. I don't know. It doesn't seem to give me a snapping point or anything for the bridge, so maybe I'm wrong. But that's fine. We'll just get that out of the way now. Okay, so that doesn't do anything. Let's get another bridge back over here. So we're going to go this way. There we go. What am I missing? A little bit of concrete. Okay, that uses a lot of concrete. No wonder I'm completely out of concrete. That's fine. We have our concrete operations going pretty strong over here. These guys are mining all the concrete and they don't even have anywhere to store it. I have ants making concrete as quickly as possible. That's fine. We probably want to expand our concrete operations at some point, but I don't think I have enough ants. Oh no, I have plenty of ants. Let's expand our concrete operation real quick. Alright, just added 2 more smelters for concrete, so that should get the ants going, and I've just expanded this trail to 4. We've got plenty of extra ants over here, so that should get our concrete going now that we need more concrete. That is all fine. Now, let's figure out how we're going to do this transport, right? Let's assume this bridge is done. It's almost going to be done. We have a bridge now that goes forward and a bridge now that goes backwards. So we need to bring our copper over, and I don't want to bring the scraps over. I don't want to bring the smelted copper over. I just want to bring scraps over. So let's set ourselves up a new scrap thing. Where is our main concrete scraps? Let's have a look. Somewhere here. All right, let's get this out of the way. It's good time as well because we just ran out of concrete on those scrap piles. So let's just bring our scrap over here. Now we've got a bunch of scrap concrete right here. So we can set up a trail to just grab it all. So we just need a regular hauling trail. We'll just do a type 1 over here. That's fine. And we'll put our scrap pile over here and we'll use this as our tester, right? So my theory is now we've got also our queen producing way more lava now. See, this thing is like fully stocked with lava. So we can now create a new spawner out of here. Or we can send this spawner to... Oh, we've got like too much lava. They've got like nowhere to put it. I might put a second spawner then. We'll just move this a little bit. And we'll put a lava storage over here. And now we want this to go into either lava storage kind of evenly, maybe. You know what, for later we'll sort this out. But for now, I want my priority still to be here because I need my ants in my main base still working. But then when there's extra lava, just chuck it into this one. So there's going to be less ants over here. But that should be fine. There you go. See, we're still getting some ants, just not as many as here. But we're ensuring that this storage is always full. So now we can get a dispenser over here to send some ants over here. So we can incubate our ants directly over here. Let me send over a sentry ant to do that incubation process. We've got 2 sentry ants over here doing this work. We can send some regular ants doing this instead. So we've got plenty of regular ants over here. As a priority, we'll send them up there. So we'll get another counter gate coming out here, and they will go up here. So we'll do something like this, and we'll set that to 2. That way we can get some of our regular ants going over here. Now these guys got confused because I changed their trail, but let's make sure everything's okay. Now we've freed up these 2 guys. So we'll get them out of there, and then we'll replace them with regular ants. Or at least one of them for now. So we'll send this guy over to this side of the world, and we're gonna get you to start incubating new ants over here. I'm gonna probably set this up on a proper pathway since we have the iron plate tiles. So let's do that. There we go. We've got some flooring for you now. Let's set you up. So essentially, let's put down the machinery that we want. So we've got our lava storage that's going to send lava over to this side of the world. So we'll put a dispenser over here near our bridge. our dispenser needs to start hatching our eggs into a incubator. Let's just do one incubator, but leave room for many. Something like that. I'm going to put this over here, like this. And then we're going to get a hauling trail that comes out of here and up into here. And then very quickly, we'll just go back for now. So we'll get you to work that trail. That should get lava into this incubator, which should start incubating regular ants out. And just pause the game. Now, these are going to be regular worker ants. So we want them to go out and into the world. So they're going to go out and into this next island. For now, we'll just send them over to mine some stuff. So when they come out of here, we need to get them out to do various things. So I'm going to create one line over here, and we're going to start putting counter gates off them. So over here, hauling this copper, maybe we'll just get 2 ants. Then we'll get a null trail going into there. Now, once you have this copper, we want to bring these copper scraps, instead of whatever they're doing right now, we want to bring them back into our world. So we're going to set this over here, and then with these dispensers, we're going to need different trails so that they know what to take, right? Let's think about it, because we're going to have 3 materials. It's going to be copper shards, glass shards, and whatever. So they're going to need to grab these things from 3 different trails, and then we want to control these kind of nicely. Let's try to set that up. So say we have 3 hauling trails. We got 1, 2, 3. We're going to need a divider at some point. So let's get a divider in. So at the moment, the divider is just going to go to one path. They're going to grab... Wait, that's not right. So the divider is just going to go to one path, which is here. It's going to grab that thing, and then it's going to go out into the world. So this is a hauling trail. We're going to bring that over here. So now it's going to go over to this side of the world. And when you're done, I want you to go back into this side of the world and decide whether you're going to go here or not. So let's just start with 2 ants over here. We'll get another counter gate to go into the divider. And we'll set this up with 2 ants. Now, once you come to this side of the world, we want you to store the items. So we're going to need 3 new storages, and we'll just set them up, I guess, here then. 1, 2, 3. That doesn't fit. So we might move this over a little bit further down, but same trail. Then we'll move these out of the way. And now we have our storages for various things. Let's just say one of them is going to be the copper scrap. One of them is going to be the glass scrap or glass shard. And one of these is going to be energy orb 2. Great. That should be fine. Now we can bring this trail out. So in our hauling trail, we need to get it to intercept all of these to be able to drop this off. And when you're done, you can now go back out into here. Let's get this trail back in as well. And that way it'll send new worker ants over here, and that should complete our loop. Let's see how that works, if it even works. We can definitely get more than 1 incubator. Here goes our first worker ant into the new world. And it's going to cross that bridge. We'll let it slowly cross the bridge while we work on our glass shard aspect. So our glass shards are being mined over here into somewhere. Oh, they're not being mined at all at the moment, but we're going to have to send digger ants down here at some point. That's going to be a very long trek. How am I going to send digger ants down over there? We might still have to incubate our digger ants somehow over here, because our glass is just super far away from our world. Is there better glass somewhere else? But yeah, anyway, here we go. They're doing the thing now. So he's grabbing the copper, and he's going to go back over here. So here is a little bit of a problem in that once it goes onto this bridge, this counter no longer counts. So we need to move this counter over to like this side, because as a priority, I want to send 2 ants over to this side, and then all the extra ants can be doing hauling. Now we've got ants on this trail. They're bringing our scrap iron over to this side. Hooray. Now we can start smelting copper on our main island. That sorts out copper pretty well, but how are we going to do glass is the question. Because our glass is all the way down here. How long is a digger ant's lifespan? Probably not that long, is it? I don't even have any digger ants over here. I don't know what happened to my operations over here, but that's fine. We'll sort all that out. All this is going to change. Let's figure out if there's more glass on this island, or is it just literally down here? Yeah, unfortunately, all our glass is down here, so we need to somehow send ants down here as well. That's a little bit unfortunate, because how are we going to get ants down here to mine the glass and do other things that are useful? I mean, of course, I can just send my regular ants here, incubate them, and then just turn them into digger ants for digging. That seems very inefficient. Ideally, what I'd like to do is send the digger ants from this bridge over to the glass, but that seems like a very far trek, and they might be dead by the time they arrive here. Let me think about that for a second. Alright, so for some testing, I just sent an ant all the way from up here, where our bridge is, down here. It takes about 3 minutes for an ant to walk that trail all the way down here to this thing. So that's probably not the most efficient way to do things. We're going to have to still use our drone setup. So I'm going to clear this area a little bit, because we don't really need any of these operations anymore. We don't need our glass smelting over here anymore, because we're going to rebuild our glass smelting on the other side of the world. So we're going to clear these trails. I'm probably going to just clear everything here, because it doesn't seem like we need anything over here. We don't need concrete mining over here anymore, because we don't really need any more concrete. We'll get rid of this facility thing that's recycling all of our ant stuff. We'll keep this digger trail, because we need to send ants over here to dig for stuff. That's the main thing that we need. We don't need to dig for concrete on this island anymore, so I don't care about that. I'll keep the trail there. It's not hurting anyone. This diode operation, again, we probably don't need it right this minute. We've got plenty of diodes, so I'm going to delete this. And we'll just leave the machine. I'll move the machine out of the way a little bit. I'm just going to move all my stockpiles a little bit out of the way of the glass, and then we'll move them somewhere that makes sense one day. Big base reorganize here. Don't need this trash can. This is our glass, and this is our copper. We'll leave this stuff over here for now. We don't need to be smelting whatever this thing is smelting. I think this was smelting concrete, but we don't need that anymore. We only need this landing pad. So for now, we're going to do this in the most inefficient way possible, which is to send ants from here to here. And once they arrive over here, they're going to be directly turned into digger ants. We're going to incubate them and then spawn them into digger ants. So let's get this operation going. So at the moment, we're out of fabric everywhere. So I'm going to disable all my other drones that go to the other island, like for example, this one. So no more for you. These old ants can just die. I don't care right now. We'll sort them out later. The ants flying to this side of the world, we don't need you to send anything to the concrete jungle anymore for now. So I'm just going to cut this trail, and you can stop doing whatever you're doing. And do we have any other ants? Over here, we're flying ants over to the other side of the world. We don't need you to fly over at the moment. All the ants might just like die. It's fine. We can just get rid of this. Well, we'll give them somewhere to die. Just extend the elder trail out a little bit, because there's a lot of ants here, so they can just die for now. We'll figure out something to do with them later. Ants are a renewable resource, so we're not really wasting anything. Alright, so now in theory, we only have this one thing flying ants out, and it's kind of flying in the most inefficient flight path ever. So let's get it a little bit closer. Oh, it's actually okay. So they're going to grab lava, and then they're going to fly out to the other side of the island, and they're going to incubate them, and we're going to turn them into digger ants for mining this glass. So we've got our trail over here. I'm going to just move the diode thing out of the way as well. So we'll move our incubator over to, say, here. And then when the digger ant comes out, they can go and dig like that. The digger ants are going to use up these screws, but we're going to recycle them back. So they should never run out of screws in theory. Now, the things that go into the digger ants are going to be brand new ants. And I know people hate new ants going to places, but I don't see any use for these ants anymore. I mean, we can get them to mine some copper and iron here, I guess, if we wanted to, but I don't really see any value in that. So they're just going to go straight into here and become digger ants and start mining this. So when you arrive on the flight path, we need you to drop your stuff off. I'm going to leave a little bit of room over here in case I need some counter gates. So it's going to be a hauling trail. So you're going to drop off your stuff if you have stuff. and then we're going to decide what to do with you. I have an idea, but for now it's fine. We do need to sort out these ants coming out of these trails, so we will send an old gate over here, because one important process is to recycle out the stuff over here. So we'll send an old gate out this way, and then an elder trail to go to the recycler. Which one is my recycler? It's this thing. So we'll do it this way. Put down an elder trail into the recycler. That way our old digger ants will come over here and hopefully their screw will be recycled. So we'll take our scrap dispensers out here. No, I'll put them down this way, I guess. As close as we can. Put our fabric one over here. And our screws one is up here. Let me just go grab it. We no longer need to manufacture new screws anymore. This will eventually stop working, which is fine. So we'll move our screws stockpile to this side as well. Maybe just over here. And then we'll get a hauling trail in from here down to here, and then back up here, and then back in here. Now we do need an ant from here to go to work this, so we'll get one of our drones. So after you've dropped off your thing into the incubator, we can set a null trail to go down this way. And we'll get a counter gate. I only want maybe like 2 of our drones working this trail, or maybe even 1 will be enough, but we'll set 2 for now. We'll get a null trail going into here, and it'll grab stuff and put it into here for usage so that we can continuously make new digger ants. We'll send 2 of these into this trail for now, and then we'll see if this system works. Now, before we finish this up, we also need to then send more ants to do something else. So what I'm thinking is we can send these drones, once they've dropped off their larva, over to this island to start grabbing energy orb 2s. So let's get a foraging trail over here. Try to make the most efficient path that we can. We'll ignore that one. We'll just do a trail like this to harvest energy orb 2s. We'll set a landing pad somewhere here. Back over here, we're going to set a launch pad. So once this trail is full, you can go and launch. So I've got my launch pad. I'm going to assign the target over to this side. And hopefully they'll fly over now and they will start hauling this stuff. So let's get a null trail to go into here. Then we will set up some sort of storage somewhere. We already have a stockpile for this energy orbs, so we'll use that same stockpile. I'll just chuck it anywhere, it doesn't really matter. Now we can get the drones that are finishing dropping off our lava to go up north and harvest energy orb Mark 2s. Hopefully this system works. Let's test it out and see. So here comes a drone. Is it carrying a lava? It's not. Maybe the next one will be. Is this the drone that goes here? This is not even the drone that goes here. Silly. Isn't this the lava? Is this not lava? This is fabric. All right, stop bringing fabric over. I've gotten the drones out of the wrong spot. That's fine. We'll just change this. We'll assign this one to go over here because this is the closest one, so they have a shorter flight path. That's what I wanted. Now, eventually these guys will get fabric, hopefully. And we need to send the dispenser for one of these over. So this one's being used for the new ants. We'll use this guy's dispenser and we'll chuck it over here. I'm going to let the game run for a bit and see if this system works. At the moment, I'm still lacking a lot of fabric. Let me just make sure all the fabric stuff is working accordingly. Yeah, they're just running out of fiber now. So we might send a few more ants onto this trail. Where can I send ants onto this trail from? Let's have a look. These are all becoming digger ants. These guys were going over here to become worker ants. That's fine. We've got plenty of worker ants over here, so we can probably send a couple of these guys over. Now that we need more fiber. So I'll set up another counter gate over here. If you're wondering, I don't want them to be a priority. So I'll send like maybe 4. And get a null trail going out here. Down this way. My concrete monument is in the way. But essentially we want it to go out down this way, out here. Doesn't really matter for now. All of this is going to change soon. I just want to get it going quickly for now. Why are you guys all confused now? What have I done? Set that to 4. Now they're going. I don't know what that was, but it seems to be working now. So hopefully we get 4 ants onto this trail from now on. and we get plenty of fiber for fabric, and there's only one thing using fabric now, so hopefully that will start sending ants over and sending ants specifically with larvae. That'll get this operation going. I can already see digger ants are coming out. Fantastic. And we've got the old digger ants coming back out over here to be recycled, so hopefully we don't run out of screws. Now that we have this glass shard, we can now start moving them back into our main factory. So we can put a dispenser for this glass shard over here, like this. Then we get our divider trail over here. So some of these will grab the stuff from the dispenser. Oops, that's not where we meant to put the divider trail. We meant to put it directly onto here. And then we get the hauling trail from here back to here. So you can grab glass and bring it over. Now we'll probably end up repurposing the old ants over here to become copper miners to go mine copper over there once it runs out. But at the moment we've got plenty of copper over here. So we'll move that over there. Set up some of these trails just to mine the copper over here. You can get a few more ants on this trail because we've got plenty of ants. I think it's all working. Look at this. We've brought copper back onto this island. We've got so much copper, and glass is now starting to flow onto this island. So we can pretty much set up a new workshop area for these things next. And that way we can start getting glass blocks and copper blocks onto our main island, and we can focus all our efforts into doing stuff on our main island instead of having all this stuff done on separate islands and then figuring out how to do the transport. It's all going really well. It seems to be working out fine. We may have probably too many digger ants over here. We got like way too many ants over here on this trail. Why do we have like 7 ants on this trail? Whatever ants we have on this trail will eventually be how many ants we have on this trail. That's fine. It's not a problem just having too many digger ants, right? Because they'll just die and then they'll just be recycled. That should be fine. Eventually we're going to have a second digging operation at some point, so that'll be fine. Let's see how our ant's doing with the recycler. It's doing fantastic. We don't need 2 ants over here. 1 will be plenty. So all the ants can just be sent over to this side. Let's see how our operation's going over here. It looks like we have plenty of ants, more than enough to harvest everything. So let's extend this trail a little bit. So we'll get this trail going out this side, and then to here, and then to here, and then back. Oh, I'm missing some over here too. So we can get an even bigger trail going. So we'll go down here, here, back up, and then back. There we go. Now we're harvesting everything on this island, and we should get plenty of energy orb 2s. Now we can bring the energy orb 2s back in the same way. Find our bridge, and bring that over here. We'll get our divider trail over here to grab the stuff. Then we'll haul that back over this way. Now we only set 2 ants on this trail. Do we even need a counter on this trail? We don't need a counter on this trail. We can just send all our ants on this trail. We'll just do a null trail. And then they'll all each get divided to grab one different item, and then off they go. And they can just do loop-de-loops until they die. And look at that. We've got all our materials stockpiling back on our main island. I think this system is going to work. Now with that, we should be able to now refocus our efforts solely back on this island. I'm going to use this big area down here to do a lot of my new processes. So with the glass and stuff, we need to bring it down here. The only other thing that I'm thinking about is we can optimize a lot of this stuff. I don't really want to at the moment because it's a lot of work, and we're going to get pod ants very soon. So that might change again how we do everything. So to get pod ants, we can just unlock it for now. Empty worker pod ant. It's created at an assembler. And then this one is the pod ant 1. It's a pod worker equipped with an energy pod. It will revert back to its empty form once its lifespan runs out. So I just want to make one of these and see what we're working with over here. So it's made in an assembler, which is one of these things. Now we have some spare assemblers, don't we? Because we're not making any more drones. So I'm going to just steal one of my assemblers over here because I don't have the materials to do stuff. I'm just going to put it anywhere for now so we can figure out how these things actually work. We can change these to assemble pod worker 1. An empty pod worker requires a light bulb. A pod worker 1 requires a pod worker and an energy pod. Oh, so they don't just pick up an energy pod. We actually need a daisy chain of these to then do stuff. Okay. But we've learnt our mistake. We don't want to immediately do it, right? We want the pod worker to work its entire lifespan. And once it's about to die, then it takes an energy pod and then turns into a assembled pod worker with energy orb. So we need another one of these, and we do have another one of these, which is this. And we'll just put it over here for now. So to make this work, we need light bulbs. To make light bulbs, we need to take the glass and turn it into light bulbs. So we've got to start our little operation somewhere. Now, arbitrarily, because we know we've already got way too many ants over here going to become drones, we probably want less of them becoming drones. So let's get some of these ants, let's control these ants and get some of these ants out to make light bulbs. So to make light bulbs, we first need to smelt stuff and then we need to turn them into light bulbs. I'm not going to do it on a thing at the moment because this is just going to be a temporary setup. So we'll get a couple of smelters. I'm out of iron chunks. What happened to my iron chunks? Ah, this stuff got mined out. I see. All right, we're gonna have to redo some of these paths. One over here. That one over here. Or we might need to move this one over here. This one can go over here, and this one can go over here. It's not the most optimal path, but whatever. Get these guys back in and starting to mine iron again. That's fine, we'll continue to set this up. Eventually it'll be done. So we're gonna get these to smelt glass. So we'll get a divider going into them. And then we'll get a hauling trail to take the glass out. And back in here. So up and out you go. Go up here, grab our glass dispenser. Dispense our glass over here. Then we'll store our new glass shards over here, our smelter glass. Then we need to turn those glass into light bulbs. So we need to get another production facility, a workshop perhaps, over here. And we'll just have one workshop making the glass because I feel like we had way too many light bulbs. And again, we can recycle them at some point. So we don't need like infinite amounts of light bulbs. But we basically just need the dispenser over here, a light bulb set up temporarily. And then we'll get a hauling trail into here. We don't even need a divider for this one. And then just out here and store that. Now we'll need a couple of counter gates to send the dudes out this way. So we'll get one counter gate going out this way. And that'll have two dudes. And then we'll have one counter gate going out this way. And it'll have one dude. Just like this way. That's set to 2. That's set to 1. And then we just get null trails into each of these. So when this gets all built, then we should be sweet. At the moment, we just need these digger ants to do their job. We can also expand our digger ant operation at some point because I think we have a couple of spare digger ants, but that's fine as well. We don't really need it at the moment. Once these guys get going, we should be all good. Now, we're having some issues with population over here. Not really. Seems to be still good. Let it run for a while and give it some time to saturate. Wait, what's going on over here? Why are you dropping all your glass over here? We don't want glass shards here, we want glass here. There we go, we've got our first glass going. Now, I kind of want to clean this trail up a little bit as well. Because I feel like we have too many worker ants over here feeding these dudes, and we don't need that many. Oh, it should be okay. I'm seeing a lot of ants on this trail. We'll just let it run for a bit, and if we need to adjust, we'll adjust accordingly. Okay, our ants are a little bit saturated now, so we can have a look at what this thing does by taking this light bulb over here and chucking it onto here. So I'm going to delete this dispenser. We're going to get the light bulbs dispenser over here, and we're going to get you to make unassembled pod workers. I need to get this guy out of here. So get out. Died anyway. But there we go. We've got our first light bulb, and that should go into here. Now, what do we need to make it? It's a small worker. Amazing. All right. So I'm just going to pull any random small worker for now, just for testing. Because I need to know what these pod workers can actually do. Oh, not you, because you got food. I'm going to take a small ant that's coming out of here that doesn't have stuff. Yeah, here's one. Come over here. This is all just for testing, so it doesn't really matter. We can optimize all our trails in a bit. We just need to know the mechanics because I don't want to redo my entire base right now and then discover these pod ants are amazing and we can use them for a bunch of other stuff and then everything has to be redesigned all over again. So it's turning into a pod ant, takes 30 seconds. Gonna get rid of this guy as well while we're waiting. Get out of here. Start heading you over to this side. I don't want you to immediately turn into a thing. But we'll get rid of that and we'll just get this dispenser onto here, ready to go. Here's our first pod ant. Let's have a look. It comes out with 2 minutes of life. Now we can get it to work for 2 minutes or we can just immediately turn it into something. So we can, like, basically we can extend a 5-minute ant's lifespan by 2 minutes 30. So we extend it by 50%. And then once it's extended by 50%, we can get it over here to then extend it again. I'm just going to send this ant into here so we know what it can do. Let's just remember this thing can just do hauling and foraging. So it's basically a small ant. And then if we send it over here to then become a energized pod ant. Oh my god, why would you pick that up? Should have done null trails. Off you go to become an even better pod ant. Did I not set the recipe? We want you to become an assembled pod worker. Off it goes. And now it's an assembled pod worker, and let's see what this guy can do. It's got another 5-minute lifespan, and it can also do plant cutting. So yeah, we're basically just extending the ant's lifespan by turning them into pod ants. Fine. That, yeah, okay, cool. Now let's figure out how we're going to rejig our whole base to take advantage of this, right? So first of all, we're using our big ants over here to do hauling and stuff like that. We should probably stop doing that. We should make some sort of daisy chain effect into these plants that are grabbing all the energy orbs. So for example, what we can do is, let me just figure out where we can do this. Yeah, I'm just not seeing the big use case of these for now. We might have to rejig our whole base to figure out how to do this. But basically what we want to do is we want to create, separate the incubation process, how we have it central here and having all these ants walk clear across the map. Using these things now, we can get the queen to hatch them into various larva storages. And then from the larva storages, we can then hatch the things out into the world so that they don't have to travel as much. So we've got to rejig all our path everywhere around the world. Let's just do this process slowly and figure it out. I'm thinking the first place we should set up is on this side of the world because the ants being spawned here have to travel all the way over here. So if we create a central spawner over here, then we can split the ants coming out of here to do all the tasks around here. For now, I'm just going to move my new pod ant stuff out of the way somewhere. And this central area seems to be a decent place to do it. It's kind of central to all of these flower patches. So I'm going to extend my foundations out this way. We need to set this up a little bit better now that we're not going to have all these spawners over here, but it's kind of a little bit difficult at the moment to change all this. So we're going to leave this as is. And we're just going to take everything out of this main spawner, but eventually we need to rejig this. So we'll grab another dispenser out of this spawner and we will chuck it down here somewhere. Just leave it here for now. Then we can take one of the incubators out of here so that this is a little bit alleviated and we can bring it over here. We'll face it to the spawner. Now let's see if one incubator path is enough. So we will send one of our sentry ants. We've got 2 sentry ants doing this and 1 sentry ant doing this. We can get this guy out of there because we've got a path that sends regular ants there. So off you go to this side of the world. And you're going to be working on this trail now. Get a hauling trail from here into here and then back here, tight as we can. And all the ants are going to come out of here. We'll get another foundation going. And then we can set up trails that go all sorts of different directions. And I think the trail that goes up to here would be tighter than the trail that goes out this way. So we should be good there. Let's figure out how many trails we want. Now, at the moment, these guys are coming out of here and they're being combined into big ants. We probably want to change that process. So let's get these out of the way. With these ants coming out of here now, we want to send them up either to this flower patch or this flower patch. So we only need 2 different ones and this hauling trail over here. So maybe 3, and then we can very tightly control where they go. So we'll start off with 3 counter gates. We'll go 1, 2, and 3. Get a null trail going out here, to here, to here, to here, and then they can do loop-de-loops so that we can see that there's extra ants. Now we need to decide how many ants go onto which trails. So we need 1 trail to go to this path, 1 trail to go up to here, and 1 trail to go up to there. The reason I've done this here is because eventually we want 1 trail to go down there. So this is sort of the most central path. So I'm going to get a null trail coming from here. Is that from this one or here? A bit confused by the thing, but it's fine. It's going to remove these old gates as well, because we're going to change the way this works as well. And leave the trash can over here. I'm going to delete these old trails now. Don't need this divider. I can get rid of that one. Which means we don't need this trail anymore, which means we don't need this counter gate. Probably the first one should go upwards. Is that from the counter gate or is that from the counter gate? I'm very confused by my counter gates. Let me just redo these counter gates. Do it too wide. Something just wasn't feeling right with those counter gates, how I had them set up. So I'm just going to redo them. Yeah, there we go. So null trail up this way. And you're going to go into here. This one probably only needs maybe 2 ants feeding these guys. They seem to be... We've got like 1 billion ants feeding these guys and we don't need them. This is the main trail, so we need more ants on this one. So we'll get a null trail going out that way, and then you can go out this way. And this one probably needs a lot of ants, so we're just going to do maybe 5 ants to start with. And finally, we need ants up onto this trail, which probably needs about 5 ants as well. So we'll get another trail going up this way, over to here. Set you to about 5 as well. Now, since you have a trail, we don't need more ants coming out of here, so we can delete this trail as well. Slowly decommissioning our old setup over here. Let's let that run. We don't want to make too many changes too quickly. It's going to take a while for this sentry ant to make its way over as well. Well, our first ant has come out and it's gone over there. Fantastic. I know we've removed the ability for ants at the moment to go over here, but we're about to change that using the pod workers. So basically now when these ants come out, we want the pod workers to go work this trail first. And when they're done, that we want to turn them into good pod workers and then they can work the other trail. Or this trail, maybe we won't use the pod workers. Maybe we will just turn them into big ants. And then they can turn into the thing that supplies that side. Yeah, that probably makes more sense. So let's put our combiner back in. We probably didn't want to move that out of the way in the first place. Where did I move that combiner? Did I just delete that combiner or is it this one? Because to get pod workers even working, we need this system completely operational. So we'll get an old gate out here, put our hauling trail back in, and then set up our divider. So the ants coming out of this path will turn into big ants, and then they'll go work their thing over here, and then they'll work their thing over here. And we probably need old gates coming out of here as well. Get an elder trail coming out here as well. And we'll get an elder trail coming out here, old gate coming out here as well. Like that. And then they'll dump all whatever they're holding, and then they'll turn into drones, and then the drones will go over here and feed that side of things so that we can keep the glass flowing. So hopefully that will work. Still waiting for our little sentry ant over here to get all the way to this side of the world. Now we do need a recycler at some point for this whole system to work efficiently so that we don't have to keep making new light bulbs. To make the recycler, we need to get copper things as well. That's a facility, sorry. A recycler requires concrete, iron, and diodes. Okay, we need to get the diodes over. We can make diodes on this side of the world. Now, we don't have to bring them over, but we might as well, because what are we going to do with diodes on this side of the world, right? Wait, why am I bringing the diode storage? I want the dispenser for the diodes. This will just be a temporary one, because we've just happened to have made diodes on this side of the world, so we might as well bring them over. We don't want to hold the diodes on this side. Or then again, we kind of do. Maybe we should make diodes on this side of the world. I don't know. Let's just bring a few over, because we've got so many. We don't need that many. So we'll get a divider going to here now, and then a hauling trail, and then they can bring diodes over as well. Now the diodes have nowhere to go on this side of the world, so we need to give it somewhere to go. We can just put another storage here get another storage here temporarily for diodes. We'll set that to only accept diodes. And we'll let that run for a bit, and hopefully we won't forget before we run out of diodes on this side of the world, because we don't want to make more diodes here. Let's see if this system is now working. So get this guy over here. Off you go. Start incubating new dudes. It's going to take a while for all this to saturate. Now we can look at the spawn rate for this stuff, and we can calculate whether we have enough ants on these trails, roughly. Here's the rough calculation. It takes 10 seconds to spawn one. So in 60 seconds, it can spawn 6. And in a lifetime of an ant, which is 5 minutes, it can spawn 30 ants in theory. So one spawner should, in theory, be more than enough to saturate these 1, 2, 3, 4, like 12 ants, right? I'm assuming that's 30, because an ant's lifespan is 5 minutes. So in theory, this should be okay. Let's see if in practice, that's how it works out. Now this one, we probably want more than. We'll probably shove that up to, bang that up to 10. That way we get plenty of ants coming out of here. While we're waiting for that to saturate, we can fix up this side as well. Because we currently have new ants coming out of here, that's not the most efficient thing in the world. Oh, what happened to you? Drop that thing. Yeah, this thing is now full. We need to get a trash can setup going here. So we'll set this up properly now as well. We only want the old ants coming out of here to go here. So it'll be less, but then when this comes out, we want these ants to go into there. So let's set this up over up north somewhere. Let's delete these old trails. Now with these old trails deleted, we need to basically reroute these ants to this combiner, but just from this one area. Then once they're combined, they need to go into this trail. So I'm going to delete this trail as well. And there goes another trail gone. So what we're essentially doing is optimizing this process a bit, because you guys seem to have a big problem with me sending my brand new ants to be combined away, which is a fair point. So let's grab this thing and move it out here somewhere. So we want to maybe use some more floor tiles. We've got 26 left. We can probably tile it up and make everything neat and organized. 4 should be enough for this thing. So we want it to come out somewhere here, like that. Now we want an old trail coming out here. And just in case, we might want to trash the stuff. So we'll get an old gate. Then we'll get a rubbish bin. Or if you're American, a trash can. Actually, I don't know what origin it is. I think we call it a rubbish bin in Australia. But from here, we then just basically want it to go out to these 2 different areas. So we'll get a divider to go here, and then a divider to go here. And then our old ants from here will turn into these ants. Now, if my maths is correct, the number of ants on this trail from these guys should be exactly equivalent to the number of ants here. The reason being, these ants have a 5-minute lifespan. So if you think about a continual trail of ants, there should be every 5 minutes as they die, they should be going into here combining to turn into an ant with a 10-minute lifespan. So in theory, however many ants I send out here, which is 5 at the moment, there should be 5 big ants over here. So we should be able to just send a trail from here over here. And now the big ants can now spend their life collecting the stuff in here. And when these guys are done, now we can send them to be combined. So I'm going to take the ants out of here, and we're going to just shove them all onto this trail for now. And then big ants can come out of there. These little old ants can go over to this trail over here. And they can go and become big ants. Now, when these big ants are done, we want them to go and be combined over here. So let's set that trail up as well. Let's get an old gate out here. And now we've just sort of optimized this a little bit better. Let's get an old gate over here. We'll get a trash can. Just in case. Chuck that there. And then we'll get an old trail going down here. Fantastic. This can probably be optimized a little bit more, but I'm not too fussed about that. I still don't like whatever the heck is happening here, how they're queuing up directly over here, but that's fine. We're not lacking research points, so we don't need to make this perfect. I'm sure something will make us rebuild this at some point. So that should be all good. We can see the ants are now queuing up, so the big ants will go there. We've optimized this trail, fantastic. These guys are happy, they're coming out, slowly saturating all our trails. Hopefully quickly enough, should be quick enough. I can actually help it out a little bit. In fact, since there's ants over here, we can get even more ants. We might as well set up the old trail over here as well, right? So this should be an elder trail. We might as well get this all onto iron foundations as well, iron floor tiles. Don't want to do it here because it might ruin something. No, just to make sure I don't delete these flowers accidentally. So we'll get that going there. Can sort of optimize this trail a little bit, right? Doesn't need to go like that. So we'll get it going down to about there, and then we can link it here. Get that old gate back. We might move this trash can. We'll get an old gate coming out of here as well after you've done your last drop off. Go up here, and then we'll get elder trails coming out of here, over here. Get an old gate coming out, say here. Get an elder trail going there. Now when you're done, we can drop off the trash in the can over here, nice and clean. And then off you go, elder trail over here and down to here to become inventor ants. Fantastic. So we've really optimized the stuff that's going on over here. The inventor ants are just gonna die, that's fine. Now we can take some of the ants off this trail that aren't doing stuff and put them over here. So keep feeding the inventor ants. There we go. And now everything here is much better optimized. Our stuff is still coming through here, turning into glass and all that stuff. Let's have a look at what's happening on this side. So we're getting no ants out here, but that's just because we're waiting for stuff to saturate. We still have a bunch of digger ants over here. Why is the glass not being transported back? Or it is being transported back, just not fast enough, I guess. But that's fine, that just means we need more ants on this trail. That's all good. So this process is all happy. We've got plenty of ants saturating this one now. And as they die, they're gonna feed this process. Fantastic, everything is working well. So basically we're going to replicate this process now over to this side of the world. You can see how messy everything here is. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do all of that. And when that's all done, I will come back and talk about it. But at the moment, yeah, we're just gonna try to optimize each one of these trails. Alright, so I've done the same thing on this side. I've just split off another spawning station over here. Now the new ants coming out of here are going to be responsible for doing all of the hauling to do our manufacturing products. The old ants over here are going to be turned into digger ants into these two paths. So in theory, this path now should require less ants because digger ants should be 1-to-1 off this path. So if I need, say, 4 here and 3 here, I only need 7 ants here, so I've set this to 8 just to have an extra ant. But as we can see, we've got plenty of digger ants being made over here. Now these digger ants are going to be doing their thing. This trail is still being let off our old trail. The only things the original spawner over here is responsible for now is keeping ants on the actual trails that are dealing with the lava itself. So that's all good. I'm gonna have to let the system run and saturate for a while until I can see what's actually happening. Something's gone wrong over here. Just fix this one up so there's no big X there. Fantastic. Now I haven't repurposed all the old ants because we've got to figure out what we're lacking and how to progress now. So there should be plenty of ants over here. And wait for this trail to fully fill up and then we should be sweet. Just got to observe the system to see where all my excess ants are and to make sure there's enough ants on every single trail. We'll have to optimize this part a little bit as well. Alright, everything seems to be going pretty smoothly. We've got all the ants on every trail. We've got to make sure ants are coming out of this trail as well at some point. Just going to use some of these older ants. We're getting plenty of fabric. We're getting plenty of everything now. Yeah, without the need to send all these ants to this side of the world, things are working a lot better. We're definitely getting a lot of everything over here. Sweet. We seem to be all happy now. We've also brought a bunch of diodes over here so we can stop this diode bringing process. You can see there's still 31 diodes on this side of the world, so we can get rid of that. And we'll remove this divider trail. Now that we have a recycler, we can even start recycling some of our stuff. So the recycling process is going to need a new trail of ants somewhere. The only ants that we can recycle at the moment are these digger ants. So it makes sense to just put the recycler here somewhere, I guess. And then the digger ants can come out of this trail and then go back out. It's going to remove this old gate and just give a little bit of room over here. Move this trash can next to here. We'll deal with that later. I haven't dealt with the old ants coming out of here yet. There's still we've freed up basically a lot of old ant stuff now. So with that, we can move this a little bit out of the way. And then we can create an old trail out this way. We can do the same thing on this side. We'll move this a little bit out of the way. We've got to do something with this trail though. So we'll move this thing over to this side, and then we'll put an old gate over here as well. Now we'll put our recycler somewhere in the middle. Like just say here is fine. Move it a little bit out of the way. Get our hauling trail over here. We'll just borrow this trash can since we don't have many floor tiles at the moment. Then we can get an elder trail going from here to here. And an elder trail going from here to here. Like that. That way our old ants that are coming out of here can get recycled. And we should be getting our screws back now. So we need a little trail over here to now store various products. So for example, we could put a storage box. Well, this is where that is, and that's where screws are. So we can do separate storages. Oh, this is going to be a very interesting way we have to consolidate our storage one day. But for now, we'll just do separate storages. I'm going to put a stockpile here and a stockpile here. And then temporarily, we can test if this thing works by putting a hauling trail like this. And we can set like one ant doing that. So if we get a counter gate, and then we'll get a null trail going up this way. And we just want one ant dealing with this. And I don't care about that old ant dying. That old ant can just die. We've got so many ants that we've repurposed now. We don't even know what to do with them yet. I don't even need to make pod ants. But we can start setting up our copper process so that we can one day make stuff. Because at the moment the copper is being pretty full over here. I just want to figure out where to do the process because I don't know which trail has the most ants now with all this rejigging. So I'm just going to let this play out for a bit and then we'll see where we go from there. Right, it took ages to balance out all these systems, but I think I have a good balance now. You basically just have to observe this and make sure there's not too many ants everywhere. So I basically separated my new spawning over here with 2 spawners. These are going to be all my worker bees. We can do further optimizations because I haven't done any old trails off any of this stuff. In fact, these guys are going insane because there's just too much concrete. So we definitely got to do some optimization there, but that's fine. We'll worry about that in a bit. Our main trail over here is only responsible for itself. So that's just feeding the queen, maintaining this loop, which we don't really need, and maintaining the hatching of the lava. So now that we're going to get most of our lava hopefully full here and then some excess over here. I've had to do a little bit of an extra trail because we don't want too many leftover ants here. Any additional leftover ants over here can just be sent over here to do the hauling back and forth from our desert island. Now, our hauling back and forth from the desert island is lacking a lot of ants. So we can get the ants over here to turn into like pod workers or something like that, right? Because if we need more ants here, we can definitely just get more ants over here. Let's quickly redo this copper trail first. So we'll redo the hauling trail for copper. We'll send over some ants to haul copper. Now we want to get the old gates working from here. So once they're old, we can probably do, we can't really do too much with this one. This trail is going to be a little bit awkward. Because I was thinking we do, see, this is the thing. I was going to use my pod workers here, but I feel like a pod workers is just an unnecessary complication, right? If I want my ants to stay on this trail alive longer, Wouldn't it be better for me, for example, just to turn these ants that are dying here into old ants, and then they regular worker ants, and then they can either work the trail longer, or they can go back into this hauling trail, for example. So let's do that system over here, because we definitely don't have enough ants doing the moving. So we need that before we can set up new trails. So after you've dropped off your copper over here, we can do an old trail over here. And you guys as well, when you're done, you can be part of another old trail. We'll do it back on the main island, right? So we'll drop a hauling trail over here with a trash can. We've got plenty of iron plate on this island. So we'll do that. And then it'll just be an elder trail out this way and into a divider, into a combiner. Now I swear I have a spare combiner here somewhere. Or have I not built combiners on this side of the island? I don't think I have a spare combiner. So we'll just build one, like out here somewhere. We'll get a divider to go here and here. And now we'll have regular worker ants over here, and they'll be responsible for hauling. Now the problem is, I don't want regular worker ants. I only want regular worker ants out this way. How do I do that? I'm going to need a cast gate. Have I even unlocked the cast gate? It's counter end, big eraser, timer gate. Didn't I unlock the cast gate at some point? I'm sure I have. Ah, here we go, cast gate. So we need the cast gate over here because we're going to get a really weird mix of ants, and I don't want the regular worker ants here. I only want the regular worker ants hauling here because we want to do stuff with them later. So we'll get a null trail going back here now, and it'll feed back into this trail. So we'll get regular worker ants on the trail as well, and they can go into this counter gate, sure. But then at some point we can use our cast gate to go, if you're whatever ant, you go back in this way, right? And then you can grab a thing and then take it back. So this one, wait, this is a carry gate. We want a cast gate. Cast gate, there we go. So if you're a regular worker, we want you to go that way, otherwise small workers can go that way. I think that's a good thing for that. That way we get our old ants over here repurposed, but we can get you guys back this way because we're lacking a lot of ants over here. Now we want a similar process on this end as well, so let's get an old gate out this way. Then let's get another combiner. I'm sure I have a spare combiner somewhere. Are these combiners? No, they're fabricators. We've got a lot of fabricators, not many combiners. There's one. So we'll get a combiner facing maybe this direction. And then we'll get a divider going here and here. But this also depends on what ants are here. So we want the elder gate coming out first. And then depending on what ant we have, we will want to get it to two different paths, right? So we need to get one of these over as well, like this. We'll delete its dispenser and put a fabric dispenser on there instead. There we go. Now, this is where the logic gets a little bit funky. So we need a cast gate. So anything can come out of here. We can get small worker ants, regular worker ants, all sorts of funkiness. Let me just redo the older gate. The old gate, sorry. So we want the old gate to come out here somewhere. We'll just do it like there, and then we'll do a hauling gate somewhere here to drop off its trash. So we'll put a trash can somewhere like here. It's all a bit messy at the moment, so with our proof of concept. Now we need it to get to different cast gates, right? So let's just get a null trail out a little bit. And then we need this cast gate. So if it's a regular worker ant, or small worker ant, that's a sentry, small worker, we want it to go through this cast gate and it'll go to a divider. This is all very complicated now. So it'll go to a divider and then it'll become regular worker ants, right? Then we need to get another cast gate. So if it's not that, we need to check, is it a regular worker ant? So this one checks, are you a normal worker ant? And then if so, we want you to go to this one and become now a drone. Now, in theory, we should be able to link these all back together somewhere through here. And then now you can go off to work. And then if you're a drone, then you're going to go into a recycler. But I haven't set up the recycler portion yet. So if you're a drone, you can just die for now. We'll just put a separate trail in here. It's like a to-do list thing. We've got to see if this works. Now, the only question is when the ants get old, can they make it back here in time? So this one's got 1:30 left on its life. It's going to go do its thing. It can't grab any more stuff. Fine. Don't worry about the excess copper because eventually we need a lot of ants on this trail transporting all the materials back. How's this thing doing? It's filling up slowly. We're maintaining stage 10, which is what we need to make sure this thing gets filled sometimes. Now we should be getting a few extra ants on this trail because at the moment we're missing a lot of glass to get enough light bulbs to even make our pod ants. So I'm not really, if it's not that reliable at the moment, we definitely got to make sure that we have enough glass and stuff. And to get enough glass, we got to make sure this trail is fully saturated and constantly bringing all our useful stuff back. But we're definitely getting more ants on this trail now. Takes a while for any system that you put in to be tested properly. But while we're doing that, we can probably get our copper smelting operation on this island going. So at the moment, we can see we've got 1 billion ants over here. We can probably do copper smelting over here. What's this one linked to? That is this thing's food source, which we don't have a use for at the moment. All our food is like basically full. Just move this back over here in case we need more food for whatever reason, but you can see here we're feeding our queen and maintaining stage 10 perfectly fine. Yeah, we'll use the extra ants from here to work for our copper for now because I don't know what else to use them for. So we'll build our smelters over here. We'll just do 2 for now, I think is more than enough. So we'll bring our copper out this way like that. We'll get a storage out this way. These guys are going crazy over here. Alright, then we can get our trails in. So on a hauling trail in here, a hauling trail in here, and then they can come back into a divider. So on the divider here and here, want a hauling trail back into somewhere near a divider, like that. Now we need some of the ants to go here, so I'm going to get a counter gate out here, like that, and we'll get that into there. Set that to 2. We'll just pick a couple of ants. Well, these guys have all got stuff in their hands, so we'll just wait for the next ants to go into this one first. We've definitely got a big surplus of ants at the moment, which we don't really know what to do with, but they're all probably going to be sent to work in some form or fashion. How's our miners doing now? These 2 miners have nothing to do anymore. Alright, that's fine. We're going to get a distinct lack of stuff over here, so we need to rebuild our mining. This deposit only has 385, so we can start mining out some of the stuff over here, I suppose. So let me clean up that trail and set up a new mining trail over here. There we go, we've got the start of our new mining trail over here. We're just waiting for our ants to clean up the stuff over here, create some more room for us, and we'll probably get them to mine out all this scrap pile at some point in their lives. But yeah, I think we've put ourselves in a really good position for expansion now. Everything's going, we're even getting a little bit of copper started, I think. So they're going to be copper blocks. You are now smelting the copper blocks. Fantastic. Queen feeding, still maintaining stage 10. It's very important we maintain our stage 10 at the moment. Let's monitor this trail. We're getting more and more ants on this carry trail, which is very important as well to get our glass. As you can see, we don't have much glass happening over here. But we're getting more and more ants over there as these ants expire and come over here. I think this cast thing is working, but only time will tell. Yeah, we're definitely getting more ants doing stuff here now. Now, it might seem like we haven't progressed much, but we've actually repurposed a lot of this stuff, got rid of a lot of our old trails. So we're now in a really good position to start expanding to the jungle island next episode and start continuing with our progression and doing everything further. Accepts goods and deconstructs them back into their raw material. Why would I want this? Anyway, we'll explore all of that next episode. Look at all this crazy stuff that we can do. I think we are trying to expand to the iron worker ant, which we're getting very close towards. 100 ants. We've already done 100 ants. What's this one? Iron pile. 500 pieces of scrap iron. I think we've done that. Yeah, there you go. There's the iron worker ant. It's an alternative version of the regular worker that uses iron to form its body. Combine a small worker with iron in an assembler. Okay. Rather than fusing 2 small workers. Ah, that's insane. Okay, well, that basically changes everything. So we'll have to increase our iron operation next episode, and then we can probably start using some of these iron worker ants, and that's going to be great. So let's unlock that, and we can complete that off. And now we've got a new instinct as well. The colony has advanced enough to start building genes. These young queens will mate during the nuptial flight and start new colonies. Well, there you go. There's our new queen. Build a gene cocoon. I don't know where that is. Is that just something we've unlocked now, or? Ah, there we go. There's a gene cocoon right there, but we're going to need resin to do that. So yeah, we're definitely in a really good position to start progressing forward now. So we'll do all of that next episode. If you don't want to miss out, don't forget to leave a like and sub, and I'll see you all in the next video.